Welcome in this new lecture. Backtest versus live is not the problem. So it was not really a subject I wanted to talk about at first, but it came through some DMs that I got from the guys who follow my trades. So I have a trading copier where people can follow the trades of my algorithm. And May has been particularly slow so far because the rules that I've set in my strategy didn't find any good trades, right? So if it would have taken trades every day without rules that I've set up, it would have been most likely in a loss, and right now we are at break even. And I think this trading copier was really the next step of me, because if you don't know me and you wonder why my channel is like this, is because before I did a YouTube channel where we had a lot of videos that I did, and we did have a lot of views. That's why I have 12K subscribers, and now you see that there is few views. Is because I've stopped YouTube and now I'm taking it again, but in my conditions. I didn't like the toxicity of comments of people and stuff like that, so I turn off the comments and I just focus on my ex and people who want to converse in a mature way about trading and that wants to learn. So that's basically what has happened now, and I thought that I would give something else in the trading niche that you will not see because it's only fancy thumbnails that gives you numbers and that try to bait you in something that is really keeping you away from what really trading is, okay? Nonetheless, I do get people's expectation, hold habits by joining the copier, and I think that the copier is not about doing side money, but it's instead also, and the best way to teach you how a trader, a real trader, takes care of his emotions, takes care of his capital and his trading per se. So backtest versus live is not the problem. Let me explain you first. If you're a good person, a good attentioned trader, you will start to document a potential strategy. So you ideally don't want to get influenced by anything that you've seen unless you have a mentor that really gives you a perspective that you can look onto, okay? And you start to go do your diligence and look at the past, and that's your documentation. Once you are seeing in the documentation in the past of the historical charts that you are seeing something, you start to build, and you start to build a pattern that you are seeing in the market that could potentially be something that can be an edge for you, okay? So all this goes together. This takes the most of the time, and despite all this, it's what people takes the least time to really take care of, right? So that's where people spend the least time to do when it's the most important. But once you've did all this, you go to the backtest. And the backtest many times will give you very good numbers. And that's where emotions, so your little, on the right side, maybe you have your emotions, your good emotions, and on the left side of your shoulder, you have the bad emotions. So you have the little demons and angel that comes to you and think and start to do calculation that is projecting what you could do in the future. And that's where things becomes very interesting. Because the past, first, the backtest will involve so many different nuances to the live, obviously, because you will have the replay mode, so you will not see exactly how the tick is working. You will make an estimate because you don't know also, how the candle is reacting. So sorry, I'm repeating into this. And the programs are different. You most likely will trade live in a different software than when you trade on backtest. So result comes in and you get excited. And already then you start to feel greed, okay? You start to feel greed and also impatience. So it's your little demons of impatience, who is expecting that once you go live from the first day to do as good result as that. And you go live. So you've been going through the past year. So let's say now we are on 25. So 24 has been amazing, let's say. And then you go live, and May has been, let's say, slow. and you get results. So this is my result. My life of 25 so far is very satisfying for me, but I'm just giving the example of what most of people is living here. And you get results that maybe could be a bit more disappointing or a bit more slow than what you were expecting. And therefore, things comes along. And those things are your emotions, but mostly your missing target point. So if you're a spiritual person, like say you're a Christian, for example, we talk about sin. Sin, now in our atheist societies, I will say we see sin as something, a bad connotation, but it technically says that if you look at it like this, is that in life, in order to live good, you have rules of life that can make you feel good, but you're free to follow it or not, okay? So let's say that the good rules of life for trading will be to prepare yourself, document, take result of that documentation, and do not fear, do not be anxious, and trust the system and take what is to take. So in all this remains what? Work hard, okay? Make a conclusion, accept it for what it is, so there is humility, and then patience. And don't get greedy, okay? Really. But then, obviously, we have temptations. Temptations of what if it happens every day? What if I could do this and that? But the problem is that between your documentation, backtesting, and so on, the market doesn't change. It does its thing. And I'm sorry if you hear my kids screaming behind. It's all good. It's just fighting. It's their age. There is a difference, of course, between you and the market. The market doesn't change its way of being, even though you have news or whatever, like the behaviors, the way it functions, everything works the same. But you in between, you are changing. And you are changing, and you decide either on the good side or the wrong side to step in. Okay, and temptations or missing the target point can be greed and impatience, right? Where you just start to see life as a tunnel, even though you have light around you, and there is a light in the end of this tunnel, and that's what you are going for. You are going for this carrot that is given to you there, unless you could have looked at the light around you, what's already there around you, and everything that you are working on here is just beneficial, and whatever you take is to take. Why I'm saying this is because, for example, the backtest that I had on 2024 was amazingly good. So it gave very good results. And for example, 2025 so far, I mean, January has been amazing. I got around 100% plus. Then I got maybe 24% plus on February, I think, something like that, 7% on March. I'm talking about the copier here, so it's a different risk management. I think 28% for April, and May so far is break even. So still very positive, but not as impressive as my backtest. So how should I react if I want to follow the life instead of the temptation, the rules of life? Well, I should just continue and see. And I acknowledge that this year, maybe the market is giving us less opportunities. Also, we could think that once you are backtesting, let's say a year like 2024, can be also different from 2020, for example. 2020 had exceptional amount of events, and therefore gave a certain vision, like a certain movement of the market. Does your strategy will have worked then? That's the big question. Maybe not. Does this make your strategy not working? No. Your strategy is made to work, and it's you, your trader, builder, entrepreneur, businessman, that will see if your strategy will work along the way on different events. If it does, then you're very lucky, and you should just accept what is instead of putting emotions that will give another perspective and give over details that was not needed. You will add trades that was not necessary because you had all the documentation here, but this was due to your little demons that added component, that added information that was not needed, and therefore will completely contradict all the work you did here, okay, for just nothing, because in the end, the result will just be a mirror of what you are. And that's what trading is. That's what everything in life is. But technically, trading is so good, and that's what I keep repeating, is because you are your client, you are your boss, you are everything. You are doing everything on trading. Like, you don't have any contacts you can have with any clients or warehouse or providers and everything. Like, you just everything in the same time. So what happens is that when you're alone, well, you let alone with your own mind, and your mind is a factory of good things and shit things in the same time. And then you need to make an organization, and it's only through self-control and experience that you will find a good way. But you reacting to emotion is definitely not the reason that will make you profitable. It's like you will be, I don't know, driving a car. If you start to be emotional about your driving, then you forgot all the rules of the driving, like in the road rules. The one that will panic first is usually the one that will die first. If you go hunting, if you start to stress, if you start to be fearful, an animal could feel it and attack you first. That's a big example here, but that's exactly what will happen. Emotions are, if used in a bad way, so for example, fear, if you use fear in the wrong perspective, meaning that it's invisible for something invisible. So for example, the trading market, the trading strategy that you're building, there's nothing to fear technically. There's not a real fear, it's just in your screen, it's just digital. But if you decide and allow your brain to transmit this as a real threat, then bad result will come live, okay? But if you take off this, and you take off that, and you keep doing what you're supposed to do, then it should come with some fruits. If you want to become a cook, and you are doing your internship in a very good restaurant, you get the recipes. They give you the recipes that many cook before you, maybe generations away, did try, and it worked perfectly. It gives a great taste. Does this mean that when you will do this recipe, the taste will be as good? Nope. But if you want to be a good cook, what you should do, not taking it personally, okay? But instead, just continue to try and try again. If you've burnt the pan, it's okay. You know the mistake, and you will not panic over, a rush hour or anything. And you know that the only thing you need to do is the recipe, is to follow it. And with time, you will pay more attention, because this is what really is. Like, the difference between you starting and you having more experience is to pay more attention to the real point. Many times we arrive like rebels and thinking, okay, I have rules, I have a checklist, let's say I have a recipe, and sometimes you want to do it a bit quick because you just want to see the result. When actually the result is not really the end goal. It's how you do all the steps. It's in the detail. The work is in the detail, and that's the whole thing about life. If we will focus our life into the end goal, which is our death, this will not be fun. But instead, if we focus on each day that we are in, it's basically looking at the recipe of life and trying to enjoy each of the steps. And this is the goal that you will get. You don't know how the result will be. Maybe we will die with suffer. Maybe we will die in our sleeps, like we all wish. And we can't know about this. But at least if we focus on each day and enjoy the process, enjoy the detail, something will come out positively in a way or not. And hopefully, if you're lucky, it comes in a great way. If it comes in a least expecting way, but still positive, it's still something good. And maybe there is a lesson to learn here. Being wealthy is not about the amount you get. is about what you're doing to get wealthy. And also it depends of how you see wealth to be. Okay? So this is very important. This video is also made for the people that is on the copier and who has a bit impatience. But what I'm doing here is not I'm trying to be more slow for me, mostly because you know that I have an algorithm. So now it's just automated. Okay? It's not like I'm trying to avoid trades or I'm trying to put more trades. I'm just following the system, and it even teach me that the most important is here. It's this part. All around are just noise, and I need to decide of how to take it. And I decide to take it as it is. It will give us what it will give us, and hopefully we get something good out of it, which so far is good. But if someone joins, let's say in May, and it starts to be slow, then we need to see the process and learn how it works, how this functions. And if you see, okay, we have no trades here, no trade there, and you see the amazing potential of having rules that we built through documentation and building, and that we created a system that can build something, build an end goal, a result out of a market that is unpredictable. And that's the beauty of all. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.